Hello everyone, welcome to Fishin, the podcast where I'm trying hard to suck less at Merfolk, and you're learning from my mistakes. My name is Kody. I'm not Kody Smith on Twitter. I'm one of the co-hosts of this show, and we have, as always, Matt. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great. I'm barely paying attention right now. I'm working on my commander deck, so I guess I should actually start showing it up right now. Show up to the show.
Well, you know, it is the appointed hour, the appointed time. So where can we find you on the internets?
You can find me trolling the Fishcast Twitter account and Kody at Matthew Caudill 8. And if you ask me a question, I'll probably respond to it as well. Is whenever I can figure out how the Twitter works.
You do actually do that a lot. Like, I'll say something, and then you'll just be like, herp derp derp, weird comment here, aren't I funny?
I found how to use GIFs.
Oh.
So I've been doing that a lot now, too.
Are you sure they're not GIFs?
No, because Jif is the peanut butter, and it's delicious.
Yeah. No, you passed, but barely. No, so I told my wife what dank memes are, and so all last night we were just like texting each other dank memes. So that's, you know, social media is great. Where, you know, talking to us on social media is great. You can talk to us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as FishcastMTG, and you can also find us on Patreon, where you can support our podcast for as little as $1 a month. And that goes a great deal towards helping us. We want to get Matt a new microphone so we can have a little bit better quality stuff. We want to work on all of our logos and stuff. So everything that you pay into the show pays for things for the show.
And there's quite a few people that have contacted me, and they're excited about me getting a grill. So that was kind of an offhanded comment, but I'm actually really excited about it now. I think I can pull it off. As a middle-aged white man, I think a grill goes naturally.
A grill? Oh, like I thought you meant like a barbecue grill. I was like, I thought you were getting a fridge.
Diamonds on my neck. Diamonds on my necklace. Diamonds on my neck. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm
All right. Well, anyway, if you can't support us on Patreon, you can always support us by writing a review on iTunes, giving us, you know, likes and shares on Twitter and Facebook. We really do appreciate the community and everything everyone's doing for us. So thank you, everybody, for everything you do for us. Talking to us.
Very seriously. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's all great. So we actually pretty much went through that really quick. So let's go into Matt's favorite segment, the random Merfolk card.
I actually really do enjoy this because I have a pretty extensive MTG knowledge, but a lot of toddler fodder cards I just straight up ignore. And unfortunately, a lot of the Merfolk are. So I'm seeing some of this stuff for the first time. But with Commander and some of these other great formats that are out there right now, I'm actually thinking of ways that we can actually make these cards workable. And I think this one is actually one that could see a little bit of Commander play in the right situation.
Yeah, this one actually was the first set that I drafted was from Theros block, which might give a hint as to our random Merfolk. But this one actually, I don't know them all offhand, but I know that there's some infinite combos with Doctor Mystic available.
Yeah, well, let's say what the card is first.
Yes, so the card is an uncommon from Journey into Nyx. It is Doctor Mystic. It costs blue and is an uncommon Merfolk wizard.
For 1/1.
He's a 1/1 Merfolk wizard.
So he does die to Skull Clan.
He died, yes. So that's good. That's good enough for most people in Commander. But he has an ability and some flavor text. His ability is blue tap. Each player reveals the top card of his or her library. You may put the revealed cards into their owner's graveyards. If you don't, each player draws a card.
So what I'm imagining with this is like the worst human being ever to be born decides, I'm going to make Lantern Control EDH style and make sure my opponents never draw anything that's going to be awesome. Everybody's fate sealed every turn.
This seems like it'd be really fun with something like Freed from the Real. So, Freed from the Real is an enchantment that costs 2 and a blue, and it's an enchantment aura, and it has enchant creature, blue tap enchanted creature, or blue untap enchanted creature. Now, Matt, being the seasoned commander and eternal player that you are, how do you think that this could be exploited?
I mean, there's a million things that untap a creature, so I'm not super worried about the Doctor Mystic being tapped and untapped, but really it's going to be getting the infinite blue mana. Two combos off the top of my head that I can think of that would accomplish this would be the Pili Pala combo, the Scarecrow from Shadowmoor, and Grand Architect, which is from Scars. It's a Merfolk. It's a Vindalcan Artificer. Uh, didn't realize that, but essentially, Grand Architect has an ability that says tap and untap blue creature you control. Add 2 mana to your mana pool. Spend this mana to only cast artifact spells or activated abilities of artifacts. And he can turn something into a blue creature till the end of turn. So Pili Pala is a Scarecrow artifact, so you got to turn it blue with his first ability. But then it has 2 in the untap thing that we've talked about before. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So the 2 that you create with the Grand Architect goes right into the Pili Pala to float the blue. So you get infinite blue mana that way.
So then we would still need Freed from the Real on the Doctor Mystic.
Yeah, that would work.
Or just any other way to untap a creature.
Yeah.
But Freed from the Real is kind of a pretty common combo piece with Freed from the Real, I know. But yeah, I mean, this seems like it'd be kind of fun to do in Commander. It's one of those infinite combos that, like, if somebody does it to you and you let that get set up, you deserve it. You know, like,
absolutely.
That took so much effort. You deserve everything coming to you.
Yeah. You can also play a High Tide and Palinchron to get infinite blue mana.
Oh yeah.
And if you really want to spend what I think is up to almost $1,000, Twanos' Candelabra.
Yeah, that's a little out of my budget personally, and I think out of most people's budgets. So I mean, this seems like something
only 600. I had to look it up. It's only 600.
Oh well, geez, let me just go get a couple. At that price, who could resist?
Exactly. It's really a steal.
All right, so let's get out of Commander fair infinite combos and let's get into our main topic, which is
let us not get into the main topic. I want to bring up the fact that we had a big announcement today from Wizards.
Oh, right. Yes, we do have a bit of news. So Matt, you are so excited about this.
I am. Banned and restricted announcement happened today.
What's today? Just so people know.
April 16th, 2018. No bans at all.
No change. All formats.
And actually, I don't disagree with it. I think it was actually probably the right call.
I know some people on Twitter were calling for Splinter Twin unban, but I don't know. It's one of those things that it's fine.
The format was in such a weird place when Splinter Twin got banned, and it really opened it up for it leaving. So I can see why they're hesitant to bring it back, because Modern is such in a good place right now. The only 2 that I would say probably need to happen are actual bannings. Deathrite Shaman and Legacy's starting to get really out of control. It would bring some of the Delver decks and the 4-color decks back to reality and really open up that format a little bit more. And then Mishra's Workshop needs to be restricted in Vintage. Shops is a ridiculous deck.
Yeah,
for all the 5 people who watch Vintage like I do.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Vintage, and I'm kind of refusing to watch it because I don't want to get interested in doing it.
Oh, it's so much fun.
I'm sure it is, but that's also what I said about Legacy. Like, I'm sure Legacy's fun, but I'm not going to watch it because I don't want to get involved in all that. And then here I am, building Legacy decks.
Well, no one plays paper vintage anymore outside of like a very niche group of GPs. What you do is you can find like a lot of like proxy vintage tournaments and play that way, which is a lot of fun. Or you play it on Moto, which I believe vintage decks really aren't that expensive. Like I think they're like the price of a paper legacy deck.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Give or take.
that's still expensive. But
Sure, it's not like the what is it 20, 30 grand that a vintage deck costs.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's definitely way out of mine and most people's price ranges. I feel like I've said that too many times this episode.
It, about a year or two ago, I very seriously considered selling off every single card I owned and just buying one vintage deck because A, the deck would never cycle, and B, it would always appreciate in value and never depreciate. But I realized I would never play Magic again. So I
Yeah,
didn't do it.
because where are you going to find another vintage player?
Yeah, I'd
Not
find like one other guy.
not to say that vintage players don't exist, but I mean, in comparison, I mean, like, we're both legacy players.
hmm
And I'm lucky enough to be near a store that has regular or every other week legacy tournaments, but that's not the norm. It's not normal to have a bunch of legacy events going on.
Yeah.
All right, so now can we go into the main topic?
We've talked about the ban restricted list.
Yes.
Talked about diamond crusted grills.
Uh-huh.
Random merfolk. Yeah, I guess we can do it.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm excited for this. Dominaria looks so cool.
It really does. No, I'm stoked. I really am.
So before we get into the like actual merfolk of Dominaria, I have
What are we doing?
oh,
Explain to the people.
I didn't say it?
No,
Oh, well, we're going to
don't
look
Donald Trump me.
No, I did. We're going to be looking over in today's show as many podcasts are doing at this very moment. We're going to be reviewing cards from Dominaria, but as we are a Merfolk podcast, it's right in the name. We are going to be discussing cards that we or that are Merfolk or will or may see play in Merfolk decks. That's it.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's the whole show. So before we get into like the actual things that could actually see play, I have a couple honorable mentions listed here. First off is Hinterland Harbor. I mean, it's a reprint of a Czech land. These come into play untapped as long as you control one of the colors that it produces. So
and Hinterland Harbor is the Simic version, so green blue.
Yes. So basically in standard, we have Botanical Sanctum still for a little bit until Aether Revolt and Kaladesh rotate out. So we're gonna have really
better version of it, essentially.
yeah. Well, I'm sure there's gonna be some other dual land, and maybe we'll get another blue green land in that set. But who's to say? But currently, being able to have 4 of Hinterland Harbor and 4 of Botanical Sanctum is gonna make mana for standard Merfolk pretty dang good.
Can we also talk about how amazing this new Czech land art cycle is?
Oh, they're so good. All of them. They're beautiful.
I mean, anybody who's listened to our show before knows for the last like 5 years, I've like hated MTG art, but man, the Dominaria art is knocking it out of the park. It looks so good.
I actually kind of like the flavor text on Hinterland Harbor.
Read it.
It's from Aline of Riverspan. Our ancestors brought down a Phyrexian portal ship, then built our town on its hull. We're pretty proud of that. That's how I read it, like just like as they were like super like into it. They're like, this happened, our ancestors fought this epic battle. And I mean, we built our house in the shell. Yeah. That's pretty neat.
Who rules? O'Doyle rules.
When you said O'Doyle, for some reason it made me think of the McDoyles from It's Always Sunny.
Oh, the McDoyles are so much better than the O'Doyles.
The McBoyle bloodline's been pure and clean for 1,000 years.
But so, I mean, there's nothing really to say about Hinterland Harbor. It's just going to go on standard lists. That's pretty much it.
Well, and then if you decide to play Simic Merfolk, it's an auto include in Commander.
Yeah, Commander. I don't think this would be C play in Modern, but definitely in Standard, it's going to be a 4 of
I
because
wouldn't. I mean, the check lands sometimes end up being one or twos of in modern, so it's not unheard of.
yeah, but I mean, you're not going to sleeve up a play set of these and put them in
No.
your, especially in Swolfolk in the blue green tropical Merfolk lists. You're probably not running this. You've got so many better options.
Sure, but you know what? For a budget deck, because these cards are gonna be like $1 a piece afterwards, it's not a bad choice.
Yeah, that's actually a fair point. So I mean, if you do like a forest for Kumena Speaker and then Hinterland Harbor for Silvergo Adept or something like that, you're not in a bad place.
Yeah, and I know we talked finance last week, but Kody and I are both on the same page that Dominaria is probably gonna be opened up like crazy. So all these card prices are going to be dirt cheap.
Yeah, it'll be cool. And Hinterland Harbor was already printed before, so this is a
Yeah.
reprint. So you could probably even pick up the old versions for fairly cheap as well.
Not now, but you're going to be able to because they were up to like $10 at one point. I have no idea what they're at now. I haven't checked in a while.
Yeah,
They're gonna be like $1.
yeah.
Maybe.
Once they get opened to the extent that we think they are, they're going to be up there.
Yeah,
So
the Innistrad versions are like $6, so don't pay $6. Just wait.
yeah, after a couple months of being opened, it will be less than $6.
Yeah,
Unless standard Merfolk takes off like crazy, then they'll
yeah.
be more expensive.
Like a funny one I was looking at today was Avon Mind Sensors. I'm like, when they got reprinted, I'm like, yes, they're down to $5, and I just checked the price. I'm like, 29 cents.
Yeah, yeah, the original ones. I mean, even the new ones, like they're just
Well,
nothing.
the original ones are like $1 now, but the new ones are like 29 cents. I think I paid like $2.50 or $1.50 for my playset, so it's not like I took a huge hit. I mean, a buck or two, but it's just I did not see that coming. That was gonna be so cheap. So just always be cautious with newer sets, especially with reprints.
Yeah, definitely. So the next honorable mention, I put in here more for comedy purposes, but it is Slyn Voda, the Rising Deep. It is a legendary creature, Leviathan at uncommon. It's 6 blue, for an 8/8, and it has 2 separate abilities. It has Kicker for 1 and a blue, so you can pay 8 mana or for the for an 8/8, which is fair. Or you can pay 10 mana for an 8/8, and when Slyn Voda, the Rising Deep, enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return all creatures to their owner's hands except for Merfolk, Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, and Serpents. So I just thought it'd be kind of funny that like maybe it could show up as a one of, or but I honestly don't think it's going to see play.
It is definitely gonna see play in Commander if you play a Merfolk Commander or a Merfolk kind of tribal deck. I mean, as a finisher, like towards the end of the game, if you got blown out a few times.
I guess it's a second copy of Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah, it's a copy of Cyclonic Rift with an 8/8 body behind it.
Yeah, I guess it's not too bad, but I as far as like standard, which I guess is kind of more what we're talking about with these spoilers, I can't see it being played in standard.
Oh no! I mean, in limited, no, not even in limited. You're not gonna get to 10 mana in limited.
Yeah, unless I mean, there's a lot of ramp stuff in this set, so I think maybe you could play it limited, but you would have to build the deck. There's Elfheim Druid, there's Llanowar Elves, there's there's just a lot of ramp stuff that you could do. Another card we're going to talk about later, Adventurous Impulse. I think there's stuff that you could do to get to 10 mana, but it's not going to be like an everyday thing.
Hold on 1 second. There's a card. I'm trying to find it. I think it's from the original Zendikar block, but it's like it has the same group with Merfolk, Krakens, Leviathan, Octopuses, and Serpents. And I want to see if there's any synergy behind the two.
Well, I know there's been a couple like Serpents and Leviathans and different things that bounce most sea creatures, but they've never really included Merfolk. And so that's kind of why I put it in there as, Oh well, it has Merfolk. It includes Merfolk this time, guys.
I can't find it, and I don't really care enough to look anymore. So if somebody can let me know what it is, that'd be great. I think it's like something like down the rabbit hole or down. I don't know. There's like a staircase, I think.
A whole staircase for Merfolk.
I don't know, but I can't remember if there's Merfolk on it. Whatever. We're wasting too much time on this garbage. It was
Yeah,
a crappy card. It's a
yeah.
crappy card that's not going to be played with this crappy card.
Also, I'm putting this in here. It is basic island, 256. I'm gonna paste it into the Google Notes right now so that Matt can see it. Some people are saying that this is the best basic island for Merfolk, and I like it. I don't think it's bad, and it's got a super sweet like underground or underwater city, and you can see there's some Merfolk swimming towards it. I think it's pretty sweet.
No, I actually like it a lot. It's gonna look super awesome foiled.
Yeah. I'll have to see it in foil before I change from my standard showdown basics, because I love my lands a little gay, and this isn't gay enough for me. No offense to the artist, Dmitry Markinsky. Yeah, no offense to Dmitry Markinsky, but I do like my lands a little gayer than that, and that's just kind of how it is. All right,
Dimitri killed it.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is beautiful art, and like you said, I'm sure in foil, this will just pop like crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start off with the Merfolk. So there's one that people are talking a lot about, Matt. Could you read Merfolk Trickster for us?
I can. It's 2 blue for a 2/2 with flash, and it has when Merfolk Trickster enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. It loses all abilities till end of turn. So we brought this one up before. We both think it's going to see play. I think you're a little higher on this card than I am. I think it's going to be more of a sideboard card than a main board. And if it's a main board, maybe just like maybe a 1 or 2 of. It's definitely going to be in the sideboard though.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit higher on it than you. Like you said, it has really good synergy with Harbinger of the Tides.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think that one of the reasons, I mean, obviously, the deck runs as many lords as it can, but Mirror Regery is expensive at 3 mana.
Sure.
And Mirror Regery, kind of one of the reasons why we run Mirror Regery is to tap things down, to tap creatures. Now, this doesn't untap lands like it does, like Mirror Regery does, and I've been able to do even on videos that I've recorded for the show. But I think Merfolk Trickster does have a spot in the main board, and it actually shuts down a lot of creatures in Modern and even in Legacy, honestly.
Yeah, no, in Legacy you're also gonna. I mean, this will be really good. You can, if you need an extra turn, you can flash it in during the upkeep and shut down a Deathrite Shaman or
Grizzlebrand.
Grizzlebrand, yeah.
Basically, you shut down anything off a Sneak and Show activation, off Reanimator.
The problem with Grizzlebrand you're gonna run into is that in response to the cast, they can start Grizzlebranding like crazy.
Well, fair, but they can't.
They can't go on, but they're not gonna be able to attack and get their life back.
Yeah, they can't attack and then gain the life and then draw another 7. So yeah. they're it does slow them down. I didn't say it was like, you know, a catch-all answer that's going to solve Merfolk's legacy problems or anything like that. But I think there's room to test it, and this one I think we'll see some, if only a little, eternal play, but it will see play.
How funny would that be? So the legacy player, turn 1s or turn 2s a Grizzlebrand, they lose 14 life, or 14 life plus whatever they lost to like fetch and things like that to Grizzlebrand. You flash this in, he doesn't get the life link, so he's at like 3 or 4 life, and then you can just swing in on turn 2 and kill him.
So Merfolk Trickster in Legacy and Modern, I think, does have a chance to see play, because I mean there's so many instances like off Show and Tell, you can tap whatever they put in with the Trickster. if you have in modern, you can actually tap 2 things if you have Mirror in play. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. There's so much cool stuff that I think you can do with Merfolk Trickster. It'll be fun to see what Nikachu and Merfolk Joe and all of them do with it, because let's face it, they're the pros and they're gonna show us what for.
Merfolk Trickster loses to Emrakul, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah.
But everybody loses to Emrakul.
The only person who doesn't lose playing Emrakul is the person playing Emrakul.
Exactly.
So, I mean, we're kind of just out of luck there, but, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so our next Merfolk that I have listed here is another uncommon. It is Sentinel of the Pearl Trident. Again, I'm loving the art of these Merfolk. They're not footed Merfolk. Like, they're actually
Fish
Merfolk.
have fins, not feet.
That would be a great T-shirt to get. Just that and just plain letters, like black shirt, blue shirt, white letters, just fish, and with the Nemo sharks. Yeah, just the sharks, and then it says fish have fins, not feet. Yeah, but Sentinel of the Pearl Trident costs 4 and a blue for a creature Merfolk soldier at uncommon. He's a 3/3 with flash, which is pretty sweet having flash. First off, would you play this in like limited or standard? I mean, a 5 mana 3/3 with flash.
No.
Yeah, that's fair.
Limited, maybe.
Limited, yeah, sure. But it has an ability. When Sentinel of the Pearl Trident enters the battlefield, you may exile target historic permanent you control. If you do, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So we can flash in sagas, or we can flicker artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. So, I mean, this could be good in Commander because you can save your commander.
Yeah.
I mean, in Standard, I can't really see it being super useful.
No, it's awful. He's just not good enough. Like, I would preferred if he was like 1 blue and 2 for a 1/1 with these abilities.
Yeah, because I mean, you're not playing him for his body, right?
No, so the 3/3 means absolutely nothing. He dies lightning.
It's just like the Playboy bunnies with Hugh Hefner. Like they weren't there for his body. They were there for what he had behind him. You know, like the sacks of money. Yeah, yeah. So like Sentinel of the Pearl Trident's ability is amazing. However, he's not. Like he costs so much. He costs 5, and in Standard, you know, we're putting the pedal to the metal. You know, we're playing creatures and turning him sideways. You know, until we have to like hold things back to draw cards, and so we're not. You know, we're not holding up 5 mana. That's kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
And if it's not realistic in Standard, it's not realistic in Modern, for just to be completely honest. All right, yeah. Matt, do you want to read the next one? I think this one's a little bit better. Has great art.
So the next one is Vodalian Arcanist. It's 1 blue and 1 for a creature Merfolk Wizard. It's a 1/3, and it has tap to add colorless. Spend this mana, only cast an instant or sorcery spell. Now, when this one was spoiled, I know we have a chat room that has our play group in it, and we all kind of discussed this for a little while. And this card is so close to being good. If it was tap to add blue, spend this mana, only cast instant or sorcery spells, it would be absolutely amazing. But the fact that it's colorless just really kind of kills the card, in my opinion.
In my opinion is similar to yours. But I think it's like either condition could have been dropped and it would have been good. So like it could have been add blue, spend this mana only to cast instant or sorceries, or it could have been just tap to add blue, or tap to add colorless instead. So like if it was just tap to add colorless mana, sure, it's not like ramp for like, you know, blue sources or anything, but I mean, that's still good. Like, if you could tap this and a forest for a branch walker, I would totally do that.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been played in standard, but for sure it could have seen modern play if it was tap for a blue.
And what would you think if we had this card and it cost the exact same, but it was tapped, add green or blue, spend this mana to only cast Merfolk spells?
Oh, it'd be incredibly good.
Yeah, that would be pretty
I
busted.
mean, that would probably there's a good chance it would kill mono blue Merfolk, and or the Simic Merfolk would be the traditional deck in modern. Again, I'd have to. I mean, I've never built out a deck that way, so I'd have to kind of see what you would take in, what you would take out. But yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah, I think it would be definitely more interesting if it was in that situation. But Matt, we actually a couple episodes ago, I think it was episode 4, we had Corbin Hostler on, and we discussed Merfolk that we would like to see, or that we thought that could be made, and we both actually had fairly similar cards to this, didn't we?
I don't know if similar would be the word, but we both thought that blue and Merfolk in general needed a mana fixing creature.
Could you read me yours?
Radio edit.
I'll read mine. So the one that I had picked, and this was for my modern, and this was at common. The one that I named it Marrow Tender, and it would cost green, tap to untap target land, and it would be a 1/2, which is similar to this. I mean, obviously, I think that this this card has a kind of more fair cost for standard purposes, but it's one of those things that I mean, they're the people that make the game. I can't tell them how to do it.
Yeah. Now mine was a mythic, so it was Conjurer of the Eternal Flood, and it was 1 blue for a Merfolk wizard that had hexproof and a tap for a blue, and all lands or islands in addition to their normal mana or normal land state. And then it also had Master the Tide, or whatever, the Eternal Tide does not untap during your untap phase unless you return an untapped island to your hand. And he was a 0/1.
Yeah, so we both actually kind of wanted something like this. And I wouldn't say it'd be bad in Commander, but because I mean there's lots more. What?
I would.
Well, I mean there's lots more stuff you could do with it in Commander than you could in Standard or Modern.
Well, in Commander play a mana rock that doesn't die to Wrath of God.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. So then so basically this just isn't playable in Standard or Modern, really.
No, it's probably gonna be really good in Limited.
And it is important to note that it is also a wizard, which in this set they seem to care a lot about instants and sorceries.
You're a wizard, arcanist.
So the last one that we have on here is, I think, the one that kind of makes me most excited for Commander, or to be put in a Commander deck, rather. It is
Tatyova.
Tatyova, Benthic Druid.
Tatyova. That's how you pronounce it.
Oh, Tatyova.
No, Tatyova.
Oh, my bad.
Like,
anyway.
TV raps.
Tatyova, Benthic Druid.
Better.
Is 3 green blue with that sweet new legendary card frame. And it is a 3/3 legendary creature, Merfolk Druid. Whenever a land you control enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card.
Yeah, I absolutely love this card. I play a Child of Avalara EDH lands deck, and it's 100% going in there, and it's going to do work.
Oh yeah, no, this is such a great. I mean, even if you're not doing, stupid cheaty things, like just gaining an extra life and drawing an extra card every turn. Mwah. It's beautiful.
Well, in Commander, how bad does it feel late game when you have like 2 cards in your hand, one of them's hot, one of them's dead, and then you have your mana's fixed, your land does not matter at that point, and you draw like a basic. It's just like, ugh. I've just time walked myself.
So this effectively gives all of your basic lands cycling.
Except for you don't have to discard it.
Yeah, with the cost of play it.
Yeah.
It says cycling, put this land into play.
And it's one of those cards too for Commander. I mean, obviously, okay, not modern, not standard, blah blah blah. But in Commander, it's one of those cards that isn't necessarily powerful enough, especially more late game when it's going to be most potent, that it's going to get like immediately popped.
Yeah, this one will stick around until a board wipe happens, I think. Like people aren't path to exiling this, you know. They're not anguished in making all the value you're getting off Tatiova.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're doing super broken things like I want to do, like play Scape Shift with it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, obviously, there's ways you can break it, but in a Merfolk tribal deck, you're not like, I mean, you're not turning this thing into a busted combo piece. You're just getting value off of it, drawing extra cards, gaining a few life here and there. But either way, I mean, like you said, you can play it in like a Gitrog deck, and just like, you know, cycle your lands basically for value and just draw extra cards. I mean,
Gitrog's green black, by the way. So
well, I mean,
that deck
in a Sultai deck, if you build that new Sultai commander where you're just returning things anyway, and then you put in Gitrog and you're
that's what he meant. Yeah.
You're doing dumb things at that point. You're just like replaying lands and drawing cards and gaining life and basically just running over everybody on the field. I mean, at that point, you're winning the game. Like it's pretty good. So
no, and it's uncommon too, which I love.
Oh yeah, no, this thing's gonna be everywhere.
So there's so many uncommon legends in this set that are like better than so many rare legends throughout Magic.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. And that does it. That's all the Merfolk in Dominaria.
But we're talking about some more cards though, aren't we? Yeah.
So I pulled aside a few cards, and I didn't know if you had any other cards that maybe you felt could see some play. And these ones I think are mostly for standard. One of the cards I think might see some modern play, but it's definitely something that will.
I actually think that they're both gonna see modern play.
Okay. Well, so let's go over them. Matt, do you want to call out the first one, or do you want me to go first?
Oh, I'll do it. Adventurous Impulse. It's 1 green for sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land card from them and put it into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of your library in any order. So yeah, this is definitely going to see play in standard. It's so good. The main reason I think it's going to see play in modern is I think Ancient Stirrings is going to get banned, and this was intentionally printed as the fair replacement.
Yeah, so it's you don't dig as deep,
and you can't grab Planeswalker, and you can't grab Karn.
Yeah, and you can't grab Karn off of it. So I mean, that's pretty good still. I mean,
it's still a great cantrip. So
and it's green, and guess what? It's a common, so we could pop off with this.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a pretty dumb card, I think. At common for just green, it's pretty good.
Yeah. No, it's very good. So again, standard I think is almost a slam dunk, and modern. I mean, it's just everything I see here says Wizards is planning on banning Ancient Stirrings, and they're just saying, "Well, look, you got this. It's just as good, kinda."
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's really good. I think it'll see play in Merfolk and Standard. It'll see play across Standard. I think, just as you know, it lets you find what you need at the time. You need a land, get a land. You need a creature, get a creature. It's really good.
Yeah.
The next one is has received a lot of buzz, as kind of like there's a cycle of these that are pretty neat. This is Wizard's Retort, and it is 1 blue for an instant. The spell costs generic less to cast if you control a wizard. Counter target spell.
So yeah, I mean, this is going to see play in standard, because there are quite a few wizards. But I think this is also going to see play in modern. It's definitely going to see play in modern Merfolk. The question, mono blue Merfolk. The question is it going to be main board or sideboard? Because if you look at the modern Merfolk deck, every single creature in that deck, except for Lord of Atlantis and Master of Pearl Trident, is a Merfolk wizard. So you have Counterspell.
Yeah. And so like even if you don't have a wizard in play, you have Aether Vial. So you vial in a wizard and then counter the spell.
Yeah, it's going to be stupid good. And you're part of the reason why a lot of people say that Counterspell might be decent or might be okay in or modern is because the blue kind of makes it a little bit slower, but Merfolk is one of the few mono blue decks that doesn't really care about mana fixing. So turn 2, you have Counterspell.
Yeah, and so there's only in modern, in at least my list, and not actually, people don't really play a playset of Caverns, which kind of plays to this being better. But so in my deck, there's 4 of Mutavault and 2 of Cavern of Souls that you couldn't play this off of, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I mean, in a deck that runs 14 blue sources, untapped blue sources, I think that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Now,
so,
my inkling is going to be in the sideboard.
Mara Regery is a soldier as well. It's not a wizard.
Oh, fair.
And but pretty much everything is also a wizard. Cursecatcher, Harbinger. Yeah, you're right. Like this, like the deck is Silvergill is a wizard. So I listed in the notes here, I listed all of the Merfolk that are also wizards. Silvergill Adept, Voldarian Arcanist, which we just read, Merfolk Trickster, Kopala, Warden of Waves. That's the one from Ixalan that does a pseudo Kira effect.
Yep.
Then there's a couple that don't get played as often. Riverwise Augur, Tempest Caller, which taps your all of your opponent's creatures. Shaper Apprentice, which is the one that has flying if you control another Merfolk. Windstrider, which has flash. Water Trap Weaver, which taps, locks down a creature when you play it. And Storm Sculptor, which I don't remember what that one does. But they're just not. Most of these you're not going to be playing in standard.
You are not.
Silvergill, Trickster, Kopala, Water Trap Weaver, and I run Tempest Caller just as like a tap down the entire board and then swing in with everybody. But it's not like it's a 2 of. So you're not. This isn't. It's not as consistent as in modern because most of the Merfolk in Ixalan block were shamans instead of wizards.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how it is. Are there any other cards that you can think of off the top of your head that might go into Merfolk?
That go into Merfolk? No, not right now. Now from Dominaria, I think Dominaria has a lot of stuff in here that's going to be going into a lot of legacy and modern decks. I think standard is going to be fantastic. I think it hits across the board. I think it's a home run.
Yeah.
Again, this I'm not trying to buy too much into the hype, but I see stuff that like Wizard's Retort and Adventurous Impulse and I'll be honest with you. As the resident Tron player, the new Karn I think is potentially could be the best Planeswalker printed ever, and I think that he's going to see a ton of legacy play with Soul Lands.
So, what do you think about Dampening Sphere?
I think that it is printed at uncommon on purpose, and I think it's going to see sideboard play, and I think it's going to be fair. I think Tron players are going to have to adjust to it.
I think it's because a lot of people call for Tron being banned, even though
it's Storm.
Yeah, Tron and Storm, but the big thing is like Tron is not strong enough for a ban, but this will kind of keep people quiet for a while. Is like
it was a shut up, kid.
Yeah. All right, so I think that pretty much does it. Remember, you can reach out and talk to us about these predictions that we have. We're just two dudes who like talking about Magic. So if you have other things that you want to say about these cards, feel free to find us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook is at FishCastMTG. My personal Twitter is at NotCodySmith, and Matt, you are
at Matthew Caudill 8.
Same as always, both of us always where you can find us. Remember, you can also find us as fishcastmtg@gmail.com. And we're also, again, on Patreon. You can support us there for as little as $1 a month. And that really greatly helps us get things going here at the show. We want to expand and keep doing cool things.
So Kody posted a video on YouTube over the weekend, and he couldn't afford volume. But then somebody came up, donated $1 to our Patreon, and he was able to put the volume on that YouTube video.
Right on the spot.
Right on the spot.
That fixed the problem.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you, masked stranger. But remember to find us and support us wherever you can, even if that means just talking to us or sharing us with that Merfolk player at your LGS. We would love that immensely. Thank you so much for your help. Our cover art was made by Tessa and Hunter Pruitt. And remember to rate and subscribe in the Apple or Google stores or iHeartRadio or Stitcher Radio or YouTube, wherever you can find us, subscribe and like things. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, everybody. Thanks very much, and good luck at your pre-releases. Tell us, and also ship me all your foil Merfolk tricksters. I have big plans for it.
Yeah, and you can sell me all your cards for like $10.
Matt will buy them.
at $10, I will buy all the cards.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great week. See you later.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
Hey everybody, Zuby here to tell you about my Magic the Gathering podcast, Magic with Zuby. Magic with Zuby is a podcast all about the Magic the Gathering card game. We talk about the latest news and events, the latest cards in decks. We bring on guests from pro players to content creators and more. Join me each week as we keep discovering why Magic the Gathering is the best card game around.